Celtic had yet again another disappointing night in Europe as we lost 2-0 to Brags last night in the Europa League. In today's video, we will go over the fallout from this match whilst highlighting the big news surrounding Kasper Schmeichel news.
But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content.
Brendan Rodgers cut a frustrated figure after Celtic's 2-0 Europa League defeat to Braga, with the manager left baffled by the decision to chalk off Kelechi Iheanacho's equaliser. Speaking after the match, Rodgers said he still hadn't been given a clear explanation. For the life of me, I don't understand why it wasn't given because it's not even close to being handball, he admitted. Rodgers slams, VAR call, and looks ahead. The manager revealed he believed Celtic began brightly, but Braga grew into the first half after opening the scoring. Rodgers switched shape at the break and felt his side were more aggressive, only for the controversial VAR intervention to halt their momentum. Despite creating chances, including a strong save to deny Sebastian Andersson, Celtic couldn't find a way through. Rodgers said, "We're just in a moment where we can't find the goal or get that little break you need." The Celts were punished late on when Braga doubled their advantage after Celtic failed to clear their lines. It summed up another frustrating night in Europe, where Rodgers admitted his side should have taken something from the game. One positive for the manager was the team's ability to adapt to the formation change. Rodgers praised his players' flexibility, noting it could prove vital in future matches. With just 1 point from their opening 2 fixtures, the pressure now ramps up on Celtic's Europa League campaign. Rodgers was blunt. "If we're going to make any real impact in the competition, we will have to win that game against Sturm Graz." Disappointment hung heavy over Celtic Park, but Rodgers urged focus. Celtic must now lift themselves for the weekend before regrouping for what already feels like a must-win European tie. Whether they can do that or not is a different story. Now for the main story, as Celtic's 2-0 defeat to Braga was a sobering reminder of the gap the club still needs to bridge in Europe. It was also another night that shone a harsh light on Kasper Schmeichel. The veteran keeper has long been a respected name, but reputations only last so long. Against Braga, his distribution was wasteful and his decision-making hesitant, leaving defenders scrambling when they needed composure. This comes on the back of a worrying trend. Since last season's Scottish Cup final calamity against Aberdeen, Schmeichel has struggled to inspire confidence. Supporters were willing to forgive Hampton as a one-off, but the errors and low output have continued. Kasper should have saved the speculative shot by Ricardo Horta, and it would have been saved, maybe even last season. Celtic need a goalkeeper who adds value in Europe, not one who simply survives the 90 minutes. Schmeichel's pedigree does not erase the reality that he has looked increasingly uncomfortable in Brendan Rodgers' side. Yes, he still has a big save in him, and yes, he could still be an asset in some games, but should the torch be passed sooner than the end of the season? Braga were far from clinical, but still punished Celtic. A composed keeper with quick distribution could have eased pressure and sparked attacks. Instead, Celtic were often forced back onto their heels. This is where the conversation naturally turns to Viljami Sinisalo. The Finnish international has been quietly working for his chance. He is young, agile, and comfortable with the ball at his feet, qualities Celtic sorely lacked against Braga. The risk, of course, is that Sinisalo is inexperienced at this level, but persisting with a fading Schmeichel carries its own risks, especially when margins in Europe are razor thin. Celtic's ambitions demand more than a famous surname between the posts. They demand reliability and progression. Right now, Schmeichel looks short on both. Rodgers cannot delay the decision much longer. The Schmeichel talk is unavoidable, and the Braga defeat may have accelerated its arrival. In other news, the Portuguese media have not held back in their assessment of Celtic's 2-0 defeat to Braga at Celtic Park. For Braga, it was a night of history. For Celtic, it was another sobering reminder of how far their European stock has fallen. Ebola, faith in Protestant warriors. Ebola painted the picture of a Celtic Park stripped of its usual intensity, noting fan protests against the board and praising Braga's ability to manage the game once ahead. Correio da Manhã, historic first in Scotland. Correio da Manhã highlighted Braga's first ever victory on Scottish soil, underlining Ricardo Horta's opener and Gabri Martinez's late strike. With 6 points from 6, Braga topped the group. Publico, Celtic aren't in a great moment either. Publico stressed Braga's resilience, but bluntly noted Celtic's struggles, second in their league, just one Europa League point, and far from their old intimidating aura. The wider picture. The common theme, Celtic no longer look formidable in Europe. Fan unrest, lack of rhythm, and poor home performances have left them fragile. Braga, meanwhile, seized their moment. Brendan Rodgers and his squad look stuck in neutral, with hearts breathing down their neck in the league. Any more dropped points could prove costly. In other news, Celtic fans left stunned by Thursday night's VAR shambles against Braga finally have some clarity, though it's unlikely to ease the frustration. The well-regarded Scotland Coefficient account has dug into the incident via their Substack and pieced together why Kelechi Iheanacho's equaliser never stood. And it wasn't because VAR ruled it out, it's because it refused to rule it in. What actually happened? According to their research, the on-field decision was no goal for handball from the linesman. Rather than VAR spotting something that wasn't there, the technology was instead being used to try and prove the opposite, that the ball had not struck Iheanacho's arm. The giveaway is in the linesman's actions. After the goal hit the net, he didn't retreat up the pitch as normal. Instead, he stayed rooted, signalling handball to the referee. That became the baseline decision, and unless VAR could find conclusive proof it was wrong, the strike would not stand. The long check was therefore VAR searching for angles to clear Iheanacho rather than looking for an offence. Incredibly, no conclusive evidence came through, so the on-field call stuck. The referee then communicated handball with the arm-touching signal, rather than using the TV gesture that indicates a VAR-led overturn. Why it's still a scandal. This clears up some of the mystery, but not the anger. From every replay angle shown on TV, there was no handball. Iheanacho controlled the ball legitimately, finished brilliantly, and Celtic were denied an equaliser they deserved. The entire purpose of VAR is to step in and prevent these howlers. Instead, the system hid behind lack of conclusive proof when the pictures in plain sight showed no offence. It's no wonder Brendan Rodgers and his players were left baffled. A moment that could have changed the game slipped away, with Celtic paying the ultimate price. Supporters will feel vindicated in their fury. Even if the explanation makes sense, it only underlines just how broken UEFA's VAR framework is. Technology that refuses to correct a referee when it should is no help at all.
What do you think of what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. Make sure you've liked this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.